most Africans and Nigerians have a very negative or suspicious view about China and Chinese investment. So there's been this online debate recently about Chinese cars in Africa and in Nigeria specifically. And if you go online and you read the comment section, you can see how negative some of the comments are. So it's prompted me to do a deep search into myself and ask myself this very pertinent question. I'm someone who was born in the 90s, and when I think of it, which of these two countries, the United States and China, has been more of a positive influence in Nigeria and even across Africa? And when I think about this, the clear winner is China. It's a completely no-brainer. There are a lot of projects across Africa and across Nigeria that are sponsored directly either by a Chinese bank or by you know Chinese organizations. And these are usually infrastructural projects, industrial projects, projects that actually bring jobs, projects that actually bring about development. When I search deep and I try to look for Americans' own project, I don't see anything. The only thing I see is aids that come in the form of conditions because they send these aids to us and they add conditions to them. And at the end of the day, you can argue that those aid that they send to us actually affects us more negatively. So when I think about all of these things and everything that Africa is today, if I look at it in a way, you can directly link, the little improvement we have made to the rise of China, because just take a look at our tech ecosystem at this moment in time. One of the reasons why internet users all across Africa are increasing by their numbers is because of the easy access to Chinese mobile phones. Before the Chinese came in, how much was a mobile phone sold in Africa? How much was a mobile phone sold in Nigeria? How many people can afford this? Can the common man actually afford a phone? So when I look at these things, it bothers me when a lot of people don't attend to this issue based on facts. They want to always use I don't know what they use. I don't even know if I should use the word sentiment, because it's almost like they have been brainwashed to think that the Chinese the Chinese cannot do anything positive and only the Americans are right. And this is not the case when I view it, because from my understanding and from everything I have experienced in life, I can literally not put my hand on one single project in Africa and in Nigeria that was sponsored by the United States government. All they want to do is take resources and give us aids. And those are not the things that help us. If you see most of the biggest projects in Nigeria today, it has one form or the other Chinese connection. Like, for example, the Abuja to Kaduna Railway, it was partly funded by a Chinese bank. If you look at the light rail in Lagos, I believe it was also partly sponsored by a Chinese bank. If you see most of the major projects that the Nigerian government go into, one of the first people that are very interested in helping are Chinese banks. So when I look at all of these things and I evaluate everything, I don't see the reason and I don't understand why we um, in Africa tend to have a more positive view of the Americans over the Chinese. It doesn't even make any sense. Now, this debate that was on Twitter, I saw that a lot of people were very negative towards Chinese cars. But I'm here to make a prediction and tell you that in the next 3 to 5 years, Chinese cars are going to be the most sold car in Nigeria because they are value for money. So I don't understand the narrative that people are trying to push when they speak ill and negative of Chinese investment. That is why in the next few episodes, I'll be touching on a lot of Chinese investment in Nigeria, how they have helped, the ones that have not helped, and also I will also do a juxtaposition or a comparison between that and the American projects in Nigeria. In fact, when I try to bring up American projects in Nigeria, there I can barely see anything. So why do you think that the average Nigerian and the average African always have a more positive view of the Americans more than the Chinese, even though on paper and in fact, if you look at the evidence on ground, it's not even close. The Chinese have been way more influential. They have contributed way more to our economy. They have contributed way more in lifting our people from poverty. They have done way more in terms of industrialization of Africa. So for me as an African, it is I believe that it is my duty to let people know this, to see the positive side of this relationship. And the idea is not that, oh, we become subservient to any country, or we become subservient to the Chinese. But if you have a relationship with someone, you have to be able to determine which of the relationship is better for you. And by the time you determine that, you have to invest more in the relationship that is better for you, the relationship that is going to actually, um, help your people, the relationship that will help your economy. So, guys, why do you think the average Nigerian and the average African always have a more positive thing to say about the American, even though in their everyday life, if you check from their mobile phone, from their clothes, from everything they do, you would see that China has way more influence in their lives, but yet they think more positively and are less suspicious of the Americans. Why do you think that is the case? I want to know your thought, and I'll be in the next episodes, and every from now on, I will just be doing a bit more episode to just bring out some of those projects, and I'll begin to talk about them one after the other. I will discuss the project they have going on in Nigeria, the ones that are in other countries around Africa. And I also try to bring American project as well to try and discuss, which one is better for our economy, who should we partner with. One thing I know for sure is that as a country and as a continent, if we must industrialize, then we must be able to do so by way of, attracting foreign investment. And if we must attract foreign investment, we must choose a more prominent partner to work with. And at the moment, to me, I believe that the Chinese are better to work with because they are literally the manufacturing capital of the world. And I believe those industries that they have, those are the industries Nigeria and Africa need to start with. The textile industry, and so many of these industries that they are thriving in at the moment. We can really work with a lot of them to transfer some technology over to us so that we can begin to build our own industries back home. Don't let anybody fool you and don't let anybody deceive you. For any continent to develop, you've always needed someone. So the question is not the issue for determination is not whether or not we need people. Of course, we need people, but who do we work with? Who do we trust more? And you need to also understand that working with someone does not necessarily mean you selling yourself. It means, a mutual understanding, somebody you can work with almost on an equal footing, somebody that puts your, consideration and your interest at heart, not someone who is going to be bucking others to you, someone who is going to be giving you conditions before they are able to help you, somebody that, have an interest in doing business with you. And in my view, this is a no-brainer. I believe the Chinese are very much the people that we can actually work with in this regard. So, guys, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think?